Welcome back to the channel, and today I have a double header for y'all. First, we have the Vosteed RSKAOS, their most popular knife so far and their most premium knife so far. The reason I'm doing this video today is because there will be a drop of the RSKAOS tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I will do a community post with a link there. If you want to help support the channel, you could follow that link. If not, no biggie. And I'll also have the links down in the bottom of this video, depending on when you watch this video. If you try to click that link before the drop time, of course, it's going to say sold out. So make sure you're paying attention to that. This design right here is a design collaboration with RS Knife Works, and he also designed the Vosteed Moral. And like I said, this is a premium Vosteed coming in at $249. And there's some innovation here, and I must say popularity is warranted, at least in my opinion. You have a nice full-size EDC knife right here at 8.37 inches long, with a 3.45 inch Bowler M390 blade. You can get it with this satin finish with the blasted scales and the copper pivot ring on both sides. All the hardware is titanium on these, along the back spacer. And you can also get it with this Wharncliffe blade, or you can get it with the sheepfoot blade. Obviously, the Wharncliffe blade is going to be a little pokier. Both of them M390. And you can also get both blade shapes in a black wash finish all the way around, and it has gold titanium accents on the hardware, the button, and the pocket clip. These blades both have a compound grind on them. You have a thicker portion right here in the back. Both of them are flat grinds, and then the higher, thinner flat grind up here in the front. You have this milling on both sides. It's not just for aesthetics. These two right here wrap around, and you have two small rows of jimping, one for when you're choked back, and it's more like a locator point in my opinion. It gives you some grip, maybe if you had gloves on. And also this one right here for when you're choked up. Nice placement, nice and thought out. Like I said, the Warney has a nice and needle-like point, great for doing drag cuts, fine precision work, and also both blade shapes are excellent utility blade shapes. This one, because you have this nice straight edge, it is canted up some, and this one you have just an ever so slight belly on it that could possibly help you when you're cutting on a flat cutting surface. I must say, every Vosteed knife that I've gotten out of box has been ridiculously sharp. Some of them the sharpest I've ever received out of box, and every steel that I've tested for them has performed outstanding. You do have a full forward finger choil that I can get my full finger underneath there. If you had fat sausage fingers, you may have to be careful because you'll be right up on that edge. I am very interested to see how this compound ground blade performs with the thicker portion right here. I mean, I would think most of my cuts usually start right here, especially when I'm choked up, unless I'm trying to get right to the back right here. So I don't think I'll really be able to notice any difference there. Why don't we find out? I decided to test the Wharncliffe blade, being that that's the one I carried most out of the two. And man, this thing is sharp. Passing through this material way better than I expected. And of course, being that it's a straight edge, it's going to really excel at this type of stuff because you have full power from heel to tip. I had ran out of the regular length cardboard, so I decided just to do same length, but just smaller pieces. So if you're wondering why I'm doing the smaller pieces. But in that choke up spot was where I felt most comfortable. I didn't want to get caught up in that choil area. Now we're testing the ergos on this piece of pine. Once again, I'm in that choke up spot. I felt like I had a lot more control here. And man, I was able to get a lot of force into this wood. No hot spots, you know, is as comfortable as a flat scaled knife can be. It fills out the hand nice, and that clip doesn't bother me in the least. And I was really starting to bear down into the wood. So very powerful, very precise, and very controlled cuts. It's like a little scalpel up there, dragging that tip through the materials. That's another place where this is going to shine. And I'm going to show you here, I can do a lot of this cutting on a flat cutting surface in the pinch grip, but you're using that same exact part of the edge. You also have to be careful. You don't want to bury that tip into whatever you're cutting on and snap it off. This one is a little bit, it's robust enough that I'm not really worried about it. But here, the edge still has a lot of aggression to it. This is a 10-ounce denim. If it doesn't, it'll skate off. So I decided to pull the 1/2-inch sisal rope on the block. Anytime I have a worn cliff, you're going to see me do this because it's just way too miserable, and I already have enough blisters from doing these tests. So I decided to do this. It's doing an excellent job, and we're using just that portion by the tip. It's blasting through it, doing push cuts for the most part. Some I'm doing the sliding through it type of cut. And I think the edge is thin enough up there by the tip that it's making short work of this. It feels like it's going strong without losing any steam so far. And the pinch grip, nice and comfortable. Yeah, I know of course I have gloves on, but you won't see me doing this test without gloves. My hands are just way too beat up for that. But yeah, I love testing the Vosteed knives because I have not had one perform, or underperform should I say, yet. They've all exceeded my expectations, and I think it's because I test a lot of knives in M390 and S35 and stuff like that, and a lot of the companies under heat treat them. They're a little softer than normal. They're heat treating the M390 I think to 60 to 62. And I would have to say mine's probably either 61, 62, somewhere in that ballpark, and I'm going to go with that. Excellent job. I get through 110 cuts before I run out of rope. That's A-okay. I thought it performed really well. Let's check that edge. Not bad. Now this is a very fidgety knife. It's riding on ceramic ball bearings, and it has a compression lock of sorts. They're calling it a top liner lock, and basically what it is a button compression lock. I can show you here, and it might have more to it than this, but whenever I took it apart, that's what I noticed. You could see the button here, and then it's got the same compression lock tab that goes underneath that stop pin right there. And once you release this lock, stupid smooth. Detent, minimal flipper tab. Do have some jimping there. Nice. And reverse flick, very nice. Slow roll, easy. Spotty drop, easy. Excellent action. This one as well. This one has a little bit stouter of a detent. I would think maybe because this blade might be a little heavier because you have more material. But both of them, wicked smooth once you release that button. All right, let's take a look at the handle area. You have, like I said before, titanium scales with a fine, it looks like a bead blasted finish on it. Nice milling here that kind of goes with the milling on the blade. Pretty sure that's a copper pivot ring right there. Somewhat of a decorative pivot. You have a Torx T8 for the pivot. It's not countersunk, but that doesn't bother me any. You got domed hardware in the back right here, and unfortunately they went with T6. I would have loved to see it all T8. You got a large lanyard hole right there. You have a raised titanium backspacer. Look at it from this side, you can see it sits a little bit higher, doesn't affect the grip any. You got some little jumps right here. Your blade centering is, I can't really see it. I think it looks like it's right down the middle. Yeah. You got a milled titanium pocket clip that is only tip up right hand carry only, unfortunately. Definitely not a deep carry pocket clip, but I didn't really care. That's what you have sticking out of the pocket, so if that bothers you, this might not be the one for you, but at least you do have something to grab a hold to when pulling it out of the pocket. The lockup on this one, when I say rock solid, I can't muscle not even a smidge of either flex or anything. I mean, very tight lockup. And the compression lock is a strong lock because you have that locking leaf being wedged in between that spot in the back of the blade and that stop pin. So it's basically jammed in there. So it's been a super solid lock. You can see the little channel right there for Spyderco. And this one feels even more robust than Spyderco's compression lock. I mean that you got these thick titanium scales, thick blade stock, and a long back spacer. You do have as much internal milling as they could, so they did a great job of pocketing, but I can imagine this thing's still going to have some weight to it. Coming in at 153.8 grams or 5.425 ounces. I had no issues whatsoever carrying it. Feels nice and nimble in the hand because it's perfectly balanced, as you can see right there. It's pretty similar in size to the Ontario Wrap Model 1 and dwarfs the 2. A little bigger than the Spyderco PM2 and a lot bigger than the Para 3. It's right in the middle of the Wee Ziphius and the Kanwu Chad. All right, nitpicks, complaints. I would have loved to see T8 hardware throughout. That would have been nice. And of course, I would have loved to see this portion right here be a hollow grind, so you get a nice and thin right here, but it's still, you know, slicey enough. And I don't really understand this portion. You know, you don't have a whole lot there. So I don't know if it's actually has a functional purpose. It does look pretty cool. And definitely doesn't stop me from loving the knife. Definitely a very cool knife. And this next knife that we're going to talk about is what I paired pretty much every time I carried one of these two. Being that these are bigger and beefier, I would carry the Vosteed Mini Nightshade. This is the carbon fiber and S35vn one. And these will also be available tomorrow during that drop. So if you missed out on one of these and you really wanted one, tomorrow will be your chance. But just an excellent pair to carry. The Mini Nightshade is, this particular one, super lightweight and very slicey. We're going to get into this one. Like I said before, it is a mini, so this is a smaller knife, coming in at 6.38 inches overall with a 2.65 inch blade. And the premium ones come with S35vn. They also have a more affordable option in 14C 28N steel. Pretty sure, let's see. Yeah, 14C 28N. You can get these with the satin R stone wash and G10 scales. Each one of them, regardless of if it's the more premium one than the budget, they all come with accents. This one, just being that it's gray, happens to come with gray accents. But I have one that is the budget one that has colored accents. This one with the carbon fiber has blue thumb studs and a nice vibrant geared aluminum backspacer that's anodized blue. I think it looks really nice. And they have orange. Now, I don't know what this drop's going to have. I don't know if it's going to be the same. Sometimes they change it up. And I'm pretty sure there is a black bladed version with the carbon fiber as well. These are the two that I have. You still get that same very useful blade shape here. That nice and downward slope drop point. Beautiful crown spine. And full flat grind that comes down very thin behind the edge, or comes down a lot thinner than most. Mine's 11 thousandths behind the edge, so this thing should perform really well. Let's find out. Man, I forgot how much I love this blade shape. I was kind of worried that, being that it's only like a 2.6 inch blade, that it wouldn't get, you know, that it wouldn't be that effective, but boy was I wrong. And not to mention, this thing is super slicey, and it came with a fabulous edge once again. That blade is perfect amount to get, you know, majority of what you need done. You know, if you were breaking down some really big boxes or something, you might want to grab something else, but I had no troubles with any of the cutting I did. And now we're testing the ergos on this piece of pine, testing the fine edge as well. And it's very easy to make the fine curls. Now, I will say the handle is a little thin. I think it's like 0.37 or 0.4, something like that. So it is thin. And if you were going to be doing this for an extended period of time, your wrists and forearms would probably start to cramp up a little bit. but this wouldn't be my first choice if I was going to be doing something like this. If I had to grab a folder, I'd probably grab its bigger brother. But so far, so good. And like all the other Vosteeds, this one came stupid sharp. Now it's really going to excel at doing drag cuts and stuff like that, getting that tip down onto the surface. Flat cutting surface, absolute breeze with this blade shape. And just watch how fast it's going through all this material. Even this dense tubing right here was no match whatsoever. And that edge is going strong. It doesn't really feel like it loses steam at all. And here I can feel that it has a lot of bite to it in the 10-ounce denim. And it's going through it so fast. Yeah, if you've never tried this blade shape before, do yourself a favor. I mean, if you don't want to shell out 99 bucks, just get the budget one so you can test it out, see if you like it, and you may be happier than you think. Now we're on the 1/2-inch twisted sisal rope, and yeah, it's push cutting pretty much all this very quickly, and it's holding that bite very well. There's a lot of aggression to the edge, and the blade shape is making it easy for me to do this work. You can either push straight down or you can do a sawing motion, whatever you want to do. And if I wanted to do the pencil grip, I could probably put my pointer finger on top of the spine and do this because the knife is that sharp. We end up getting through 90 cuts before I run out of rope, and it most certainly could have done more than that. This one was an absolute pleasure to test. Everything I did was just a piece of cake. I can't express how much I love when I get a very sharp knife like this. Wish more companies would follow suit. Unfortunately, that's not the case. If you own any Vosteed knives, let me know how your edges came out of box. Are they as sharp as mine? Because it always puts a smile on my face whenever I do a 3-finger test to these edges. Now let's talk about the action real quick. These are riding on bearings, and they are crossbar lock. Dual thumb studs, I can easily access them. If the tension's not tight enough on your crossbar lock, this is an adjustable crossbar lock. You can see all those extra holes in there, like the clutch lock on Kaiser's. The way it's set now, when you pull that back, I mean, super smooth. I can reverse flick it. I can grab the spine, drop it, and you're already in a pinch grip. So super smooth action. The carbon fiber looks really nice, especially being that it's contoured, so you're getting the different effects of the carbon fiber. No voids that I can see. You got a lanyard hole for the lanyard people out there. You have a Torx T8 for the pivot, T6 for the body screws, tip up, a deep carry pot clip that is left or right-handed carry. Coming in at 45.8 grams or 1.615 ounces. Awesome. The lockup on mine, solid, no play up or down. I can kind of get a little bit of just back and forth slide from the axis bar, but I can do that on all my Benchmates too. Nothing that makes me feel like this thing's going to fail on me or anything. No side to side whatsoever. Here it is next to the regular Nightshade TH and the Spyderco Techno 2, Civivi Mini Praxis, and the Knifes Lander. Ontario Rat 2 and the QSP Penguin. Nitpicks and complaints, I guess T8 hardware throughout would have been nice. I get it. It is a smaller knife, so it's not that big of a deal to me. But other than that, I love this knife. It slices so well, and that's why I said it's such a great pair with the RSKAOS, because this is a more beefier, heavier duty knife, bigger knife, and for rougher tasks. You want a more slicier, smaller, one more for the sheeple out there, then the Mini Nightshade is a good option. Like I said, I think these run $99 with the carbon fiber and S35vn, or you can get the 14C and G10 for, I think these are like $59 or $69. Either one of those are a good price. Overall, awesome knife. If you've never used this blade shape before on the regular size, or if you've never had Spyderco Lum or anything, this is a super, super useful blade shape, and I've fallen in love with the knife. You know, it's definitely a interesting looking design, to say the least. It's probably love it or hate it, but I've grown to love it just because I love a good performer, and this one definitely does so. So, like I said, these will become available tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I will do a community post on the channel just in case you forget. I will put an affiliate link in there. That way, if you want to help support what I do here on this channel, that is one way to do so. I appreciate everybody stopping by and hanging out with me today. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.